Okay, let's unpack this story today. It's really quite something.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to uncover a single life, a very personal story.
Right.
But it's set against this just monumental backdrop, the Battle of the Bulge.
One of the biggest, most brutal parts of the war.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this isn't just about the battle tactics, is it? It's about connection.
Connecting a real person, a name,
Jonas Elmer Smith.
a family, a farm in Kansas even.
To this enormous global conflict that, well, it shaped everything.
Absolutely.
So our deep dive is focused right there on Jonas Elmer Smith, his life, his service, and ultimately his sacrifice.
And we've got some fascinating sources to work with.
We do. It's a mixed biographical notes, clippings from local papers back then.
The kind of thing you find in local historical societies.
Right, and detailed military action reports, too, so you get both sides.
The personal, intimate details and the big picture, the historical context.
Yeah, it paints a really unique picture, gives us a window into that time.
And what's fascinating here is how these pieces, seemingly small on their own, let us build this mosaic.
A mosaic, I like that.
Yeah, it's not just what happened, but it shows how individual lives got tangled up, irrevocably in these huge world events.
Right.
So our mission today really is to piece that together, understand the human cost, the dedication,
The sacrifice.
and see that intricate web of wartime events.
Yeah.
It's about giving a voice, maybe, to an experience that, while it's Jonas's story, it echoes something universal about that time.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Kansas.
The heartland.
Jonas Elmer Smith.
Yeah.
Born August 5th, 1918.
Okay.
In Kansas, the notes say 10 miles southwest of Centralia. Very specific.
Gives you a real sense of place.
It does. His parents were Roy E. and Harriet Smith. And you can sort of picture his childhood, right? Grade school in the Edgewood district.
Small rural school, probably.
Then graduated from Vermilion High School. Although, interestingly, we have 2 dates listed.
Oh.
Yeah, one source says 1937, another says 1938.
Huh. Well, that happens with older records sometimes. Adds a bit of texture, like you said.
It does. And he was clearly part of his community, baptized in the Presbyterian Church.
Right.
And later formally joined the church when Reverend V. Dean Stevens was the pastor.
So, grounded in his local community, his faith.
Very much so.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, Jonas's early life, it really sums up the experience for so many young men in rural America back then.
How so?
Well, they were part of the family farm, weren't they? Deeply connected to their town, the church.
Like Jonas helping his father on their farm.
Exactly. Right up until October 8th, 1941.
The day he was called into service.
Yeah. And that moment, that leaving home, that was a universal thing happening all across the country.
Leaving behind everything familiar.
Everything. Your role, your life to answer this huge call to duty as the world was just descending into chaos.
It wasn't just signing up, it was a whole life change.
A massive societal shift, pulling people into something way bigger than themselves.
And his early military time, well, wasn't straightforward, was it?
No, not at all.
He did his basic training at Camp Wallace, Texas, then Camp Tyson, Tennessee. Standard enough, maybe?
Right, basic infantry pipeline, you might think.
But here's where it gets really interesting. He spent 13 months up on the Canadian border.
Doing what?
In a barrage balloon battalion. Early in the war.
Barrage balloons. Wow, okay, that's specialized.
Yeah. We even found a newspaper clipping from January 43. It mentions him with the F. Gritty Coast Guard, maybe a typo or linked unit, in the balloon barrage department.
So a very specific, almost surprising role at first. A world away from frontline combat.
Totally. But life carried on alongside the war, didn't it?
It had to.
He got married June 20, 1942, to Betty Jean Long.
Okay.
And they had a son, Maurice Elmer Smith.
A family started amidst all that uncertainty.
Yeah. And Maurice would only be 5 years old when his father was finally buried.
God, that's heartbreaking. Puts it all in perspective.
It really does. Building a life, knowing the risks, it takes incredible courage.
It does. And, this raises an important question about how the war's demands shifted.
What do you mean?
Well, his initial role, the balloons, was highly specialized, but that changed drastically.
Right, the transfer.
Exactly. October 1944, he's moved to the infantry.
And then straight to Europe in November 44.
Yeah. And that transition, it wasn't just a paperwork shuffle. It shows the desperate need for ground troops as the war reached its peak.
They needed bodies on the front line.
They did. They were taking specialists like Jonas and essentially making them frontline combatants out of necessity.
Which must have been incredibly dangerous for someone without that specific infantry combat background.
Hugely risky, thrust right into the most intense fighting. It helped win the war, no doubt, but the individual cost, immense.
So that transfer in October 44, deployment in November,
Right.
that put him right there, just before the Battle of the Bulge kicked off.
Right on the doorstep.
He was a T4 sergeant by then.
Technician 4th grade, often like a staff sergeant in pay and responsibility, but focused on technical skills.
In the 291st Infantry Regiment, 75th Division.
Yep, part of the U.S. Army. And just as the Germans launched their massive Ardennes offensive in December.
So his unit, the 291st, was thrown right into the counterattack.
Immediately. They were part of that huge Allied effort to push back the German advance.
The records show they were involved in assaults, defensive actions.
Heavy fighting, trying to stop enemy troops infiltrating in the Ardennes, and the conditions...
They're terrible, I imagine.
Horrific. Intense, cold, relentless combat. They were facing constant artillery, mortar fire.
Close quarters fighting.
Yeah, against well-dug-in German soldiers, especially around places like Grand Halo and along the Somme River.
Key strategic points.
Absolutely. By mid-January 45, they were attacking high ground, holding it against fierce counterattacks.
Just relentless pressure.
It really was a grinding battle, setting the stage for what came next.
Which brings us to that critical date. January 24th, 1945.
The day Jonas was killed.
He was just 26 years old.
20.
In the location near Ville-Somme, Belgium, in the Bastogne area, specifically Grand Bois.
And what's fascinating here is the strategic context of that exact day.
What was happening?
The 291st was deep in combat operations. It was part of the final push to basically break the back of the German offensive in that sector.
Okay.
They were executing a major tactical move, a double envelopment around the Somme River Valley near Ville-Somme.
Pincer movement, basically. Squeezing the enemy?
Exactly. Attack from both north and south to encircle them. The 291st took key high ground north of Ville-Somme.
While another unit attacked from the south.
Right, the 289th Infantry. It was a coordinated assault.
Must have faced incredible resistance.
Oh, absolutely. Machine gun nests, constant artillery, mortar fire, but they pushed through.
They had to hold that ground.
They did. Held it, forced the Germans back. It was a critical part of collapsing the Bulge in that area.
So what does this all mean? It means connecting Jonas's name, his sacrifice,
directly to this vital, high-stakes military action that helped turn the tide right there.
It sounds incredibly intense. But I wonder, were these units, like the 291st, feeling the strain, pushing so hard, were they stretched thin?
That's a really important point. And yes, undoubtedly, the official reports focus on success, the objectives taken.
But the reality on the ground.
Extreme exhaustion, heavy casualties, brutal winter weather. These successful moves often came down to sheer grit, incredible bravery from individual soldiers facing unbelievable risks.
Knowing the cost.
Knowing the cost. So when we link Jonas Elmer Smith's name to January 24th, 1945, near Ville-Somme...
We're not just marking a date.
No, we're acknowledging his part in this huge, costly, but strategically vital push. His sacrifice, and so many others, was the price of that success.
And for his family back home?
Yeah.
The news must have been devastating.
Agonizing. The War Department notification reached his wife, Betty Jean, in Salina, Kansas on February 12th, 1945.
Just weeks after he died.
Yeah. But a formal memorial service wasn't held until much later, July 5th, 1945.
Back in Vermilion at the Presbyterian Church.
Right, with Rev A.M. McGinnis officiating. But even that wasn't the end of the waiting.
No, because he hadn't come home yet.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this delay was terribly common after World War II.
A logistical nightmare, I suppose?
A massive undertaking and heartbreaking for families. Jonas's body didn't actually arrive back in the U.S. until November 16th, 1948.
Wow, nearly 4 years after his death.
4 years. Arrived in New York on the U.S. Army transport Carroll Victory, then by train to Kansas City, and finally home to Vermilion.
That long wait, the uncertainty, the delayed grief. Thousands of families went through that.
Thousands. It's a part of the war's aftermath we don't always think about. That prolonged, quiet suffering.
But when he did finally come home, the community was there.
They were. Full military honors at Vermilion Cemetery, December 6th, 1948.
And the records give such specific details, it feels very real.
It does. MST John Plock as the military escort.
Reverend V. Dean Stevens, who knew him from the church, conducted the service.
And the pallbearers, Harold Smith, Wilbur Smith, Raymond Mooney, Wilbur Mooney, Elmo Long, Ivan Long, Likely family, friends.
People who knew him his whole life. The American Legion Post handled the graveside rites.
A final, dignified farewell from his community.
Surrounded by family, his wife Betty Jean, his little boy Maurice Elmer,
His parents, Roy and Harriet. His grandfather, E. E. Smith.
his brother Earl, his three sisters, Mrs. Ivan Long, Mrs. Elmo Long, Nellie Marie Smith, nieces, other relatives, friends.
Bringing that long, painful chapter to a close.
Okay, let's unpack this one last time. We've followed Jonas Elmer Smith's journey.
From that Kansas farm born in 1918.
Through his unexpected early service with the barrage balloons.
His marriage, the birth of his son.
The transfer to the infantry right into the thick of it.
And his final sacrifice, January 24th, 1945. Battle of the Bulge. Feel some.
His story, pieced together from these different sources, it really shows that blend, doesn't it? The personal life and the huge historical occurrence.
It really does. And Jonas's story, it's such a powerful reminder. The dedication, the sacrifice.
It's so many individuals.
Exactly. And their stories, they're often right there, preserved in local records, old newspapers.
Waiting to be found.
Yeah, they're not just names and dates. They let us really connect with the human cost of these massive conflicts. Behind every number, there's a life, a family, a community changed forever.
This raises an important question for you listening. As you think about Jonas Elmer Smith, from Kansas to Belgium, just consider how many others there are like him.
Countless stories.
Countless personal stories of service, sacrifice, echoing through time, maybe hidden away in old boxes, local archives, town records.
Things you might walk past every day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the question is, what untold stories might be waiting in your own family history or your community's past? Stories that could offer a whole new perspective, a deeply personal one, on the big historical events you thought you knew.